We're here with Lyndon Burgin. Lyndon, how long have you been a pilot with Carolinas?
I've been with CMC for almost 2 years.
And I'm sure you're a former military flyer?
I've flown for more years than I like to think about.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the chopper we're seeing here.
This is a Eurocopter, it's EC-130. We took delivery of these in April this year. It's a brand new aircraft. It's got a max gross weight of about 2,910 kilograms. It's got about a 2.5 hour maximum payload. It's really, really equipped well. It's got all the, again, that's what I was telling him, it's got the latest technology, the latest wizardry. I flew 121 airplanes for several years, and it's better equipped than any commuter aircraft I ever flew.
Yeah.
It's got all autopilots, terrain avoidance, weather avoidance, best autopilots you can think about. They're just super equipped, and it's easy. You know, it's easy to be safe in it.
How hard was it for you to transition from the old helicopter to this one?
You know, I've flown a lot of, and I'm not bragging, but I've flown a lot of different types of aircraft, and the 430 was really a complex aircraft, and this aircraft's just really simple. And you know, the Germans just simplified it.
Right.
You know, they stuck with toggle switches, and everything in it's a toggle switch. The only push button I think is the fire control.
Lyndon, how fast are you down to Charlotte from Morganton here to fly to Charlotte?
Oh, it takes about 26 minutes.
About 26 minutes?
Now that's a no-wind day.
Yeah.
But again, you can look at it, you can see it, everything in it's a toggle switch. It's fun to fly. It's so simple. It's fun, and yet it's so simple to use everything. Yet it's so magic about everything it does. Right. From the time you leave the ground, if you punch the right buttons, it'll fly the aircraft almost back to the ground. That includes all the extra procedures and everything.
Tell me about the crew that rides with you. Who all rides in the helicopter when you got a person that's been?
Med Center Air requires that a flight nurse and a respiratory therapist be on board on all flights. So we have one each on all patient flights, and many times the med crews are, you know, they're dual, like they're a therapist and a nurse. Many of them are also an EMT, so there's quite a bit of experience in the medical side back there in the back on every flight.
Morganton's pretty fortunate to have something like this, isn't it? A really great. So this is actually the better view of what we have inside. So
this is actually where the medical business goes on. The patient's head goes right here. That seat over there will slide aft and swivel 360 degrees. The respiratory therapist usually sits here so they can manage the airways, and the nurse is over there so they can move back and forth and take care of the monitor.
There's a whole lot more space.
So is this where you load the patient over here?
This is where you load the patient, or where the medical crew loads the patient.
Wow. What a piece of gear.
These aircraft operate for probably less than half of what the 430.
So ultimately you'll save money using this. But what is the typical life for a helicopter like this? So you get 20 years out of one, or I mean, how long do they service?
I'm sure that the folks in Asheville, they've got an EC-135 similar to these. It's an old one. But if I'm not mistaken, they've been using theirs for 15 or 20 years.
So they really are if they're maintained properly, they'll last on and on and on.
Oh yeah, and the 430s were the same thing. They probably used those 10 years at least.
In a typical month, how many flights? I know you have to do some flights just for maintenance of the vehicle and all, but how many calls do you typically get in a month for emergencies?
Well, I guess the best answer to that is like over the 4th of July this year, in a 2-day period, the program did 38 flights, the helicopter side.
My goodness.
They did 38. So at this program here, at this base, we average probably 2-3 flights a 24-hour period. You know, there's days that we go, like we went 24 hours now. They flew a flight last night. I didn't fly one yesterday. But now today and tomorrow, I'll probably end up flying 3 or 4 flights. That's just the nature of the business.
So it really is something that's used a lot here in this area as well.
We stay busy. Lots of times we'll do 3 or 4 flights a shift.
3 or 4 flights.